Sanjay Babaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Trayaya Vidmahe Sanjaya Babaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Trayaya Vidmahe Sanjaya Babaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Charan Sparsh Bhagwan Baba Tom Sharanam Mama.
Om Sairam, and very good evening to all of you.
As everyone has a background that has a beginning, so does Anand has. Let me introduce everyone to Anand. Anand Sharma is a mechanical engineer, Microsoft certified professional, and over and above everything, a passionate trainer. But guys, that's not all. He is also a thorough businessman. Before being a successful businessman, let me tell you, he failed in 8 to 9 business ideas. He was broke at the age of 28. Then came a time when the universe granted him with a successful business in the year 2006. After that, he kept on achieving greater heights. Anand Sharma is an entrepreneur who has business interest in HR, learning and development, and information technology, developing solutions as per the need of the time for the betterment of the society. His tourism business has office across Europe, Asia and GCC, but in my personal view, he is a simple, God-loving person who is working round the clock, mentally, to see God in all his deeds, and the deeds of all people around him. Let's hear from him, his part of the story.
Loving Koti Pranams at the divine lotus feet of our dearest Bhagwan, Sri Sanjay Sai Baba. We have with us Brother Anand Sharma, whose many things are not told in this video. As a person, he is excellent human being and is involved with lots of service activities. He has Sai Anandam Foundation, through which he is helping hundreds of children around India. He is also an active member of Sri Sanjay Sai Seva Organization Oman chapter, and he is the main person who is building Sri Sanjay Sai Gurukul website on behalf of Oman chapter. He and his able wife Sushma Sharma and 2 children, Aditya and Siddharth, are totally blessed by Bhagwan, and they are into lots of service activities. It's so beautiful to have with us today Brother Anand Sharma and Sister Sushma Sharma, who works 24 by 7 for the cause. May God bless them, let them involve in more activities and evolve more and more with great success in life. Tumeva Charanam, Mama Sai Deva. Over to Brother Anand Sharma.
Om Sai Ram. Om Bhagwan Shri Sanjay Sai Baba Namo Namah. Loving pranams to our dearest Bhagwan. Thank you, Chitrama, for your kind words. Now, my journey with Bhagwan. It starts, I still remember, it was a beautiful evening of 9th September 2017. Now, I'm not a very regular speaker, so please excuse me if I'm not very clear. Okay, this was, as I said, it was a beautiful evening of 9th September 2017. I was totally unaware that something unexpected, something beautiful and eventful was about to happen that evening with me and my family. Me and my wife, Sushma, were going to Chitrama's house, Sai Abode, to seek a blessing of some Baba who has come from Nepal to Oman. I was honestly a little reluctant to go. Now, a little intro about me. I was never a strong believer and a follower of any Swami and Baba in my life before. In fact, I rarely visited temple. It was actually once or twice in a year, that too under special occasions. And those occasions were neither Diwali nor Holi. Let me tell you, it was actually a sort of kind of serious threat or warning, which I received either from my wife or my mother to compulsorily visit the temple. As I always believe that God is not only in the temple, but he exists in every living being around us. So why take so much trouble of standing in queue and all that? So when we reached Chitrama's house, we waited there for some time in the living room. At then one point, Chitrama said, Anand, you can go to a particular room and take Baba's darshan. And when I went inside, I took a first glimpse of Swami. I saw a very warm, welcoming kind of personality. But also I felt a very attractive smile on Swami's face. Formally, I bowed down on his feet. He blessed me, but surprisingly, unexpectedly, he presented me with a murti of Lord Shaligram. He stared at me and told me, the first statement he told me ever in this lifetime was, why don't you come to Kathmandu during October, November time? He smiled and further reasoned it that the weather during that time is quite pleasant and I really like it there. Now, before I could think of anything or respond anything, Chitramaya came for help and said, Swami, they may visit in January during your birthday time. Now, this was September. Now, Swami stared at me again and just simply passed a quite silent, simple, but very sort of mysterious smile. After seeking his blessing and with a little formal chat, we just walked away from the room. But his smile, his calmness, his radiant face was something different. It stayed in my mind for a few days. Then sometime later, I forgot about it. Then something happened. My parents came to visit to me at Muscat in the month of October on a visit visa. And during our regular conversation, when they heard about Swami from my wife, about his work, about his miracles, my parents got a little excited and they started insisting that they want to visit Kathmandu and want to seek blessing of Swami. Well, I had a very serious official commitment at that point of time, so I was not that keen much to go to Nepal. But after that, unknowingly, some certain numerous series of events and circumstances started folding and unfolding. Things were happening in a different way. Something weird was happening. It seemed to me, I literally felt at that point of time, like the whole universe was actually sort of conspiring that we must go to Nepal under any cost, under any circumstances. So even fighting against all odds, even with all my work issues, I finally went to Kathmandu, and that was on 23rd of November 2017 on the eve of Sri Satya Sai Baba birthday. And the irony was, my parents, who were the primary reason for our Nepal visit, they themselves were not able to travel to Kathmandu. At last minute, they faced some visa-related problem and they could not go. But we were there at Nepal as he predicted. For me, when I met Swami first time in Kathmandu, I said I saw the same congruent, exactly similar mysterious smile on his face. I correlated the smile, literally felt that it was telling me, see Anand, whatever I say happens, not what you think or what you say. Now I felt like he's saying now you know who is the big boss. Well, I bowed down on the lotus feet, understanding the simple fact. There are a lot of mysteries and things on this around us, which I still don't understand and can't even think of even controlling them. That's how my journey with our beloved Bhagwan started. Now, let's discuss our first trip to Nepal. Now, this was my first ever trip to Nepal. I have never visited Nepal in my lifetime. Somehow I was not aware that there is going to be a lot of love, surprises, drama, and thrill, a lot stored for me and my family in this trip. It was a 4-day trip. The first day of our trip had a surprise angle stored for us. We had a wonderful time with Swami in the first day in the meeting room, in the first evening. After meeting him, when we were coming back to our hotel room, we constantly felt a beautiful fragrance around us. When we were in the auto rickshaw, we looked it in our bag, a few paces around, but we could not locate from where the fragrances were coming. Hence, we finally ignored it and with some unclear logic. But the fragrance was quite an astounding one. Once we returned to our hotel room, as my wife Sushma was about to change her attire, we were quite pleasantly surprised to find an exceptionally good quantity of vibhuti quite strangely held between the fold or the pallu of her saris. We immediately understood that the constant fragrance which was coming throughout the journey, return back, was from this vibhuti only. But we failed to understand two things still. First, how and when so much quantity of vibhuti came into her sari. Second thing, how did this vibhuti being a powder kind of material did not fell and with this so much of quantity slide from her saris polluted plus our journey. We have not understood the mystery still. But we accepted this as a blessing of our beloved God and felt quite happy about it. This was the first evening. Now, the second evening had a lot of love stuff for me. Swami invited us to ashram for dinner at ashram. We were offered to have juicy paneer chili Chinese dish, a delicious palau, and some awesome raita were given. The taste was actually indeed very good. Swami sat in front of us and told us to eat. Well, I could not control the temptation and said, Swami, the food was actually really different and indeed tasted very awesome. Surely I was not trying to flatter him, but honestly, the food was tasting very wonderful. Tasting wonderful. Swami lovingly smiled, looked into my eyes, and said, I prepared this meal with my own hands today. I was stunned for a few seconds when I heard this. And when he said that, I noticed a completely different facial avatar of Swami at that point of time. We can feel the overall love and happiness in the room. We talked, we laughed, we had a memorable evening of our lifetime. Then the third evening, again, I felt that there was a price us with a materialized Shiva Lingam. He gave it to us and said, pray to the Shivalingam daily, drink the Abhishek water daily, and let your family drink it. And I say, I bless that no disease will ever affect you and your family. After that event, now it is actually more than 3 years now, we are following his instruction and we are praying the Shiva Lingam daily without fail and drinking Abhishek water regularly without fail. But let me tell you very honestly, we have not experienced any medical issue in our family in last 3.5 years since then. Such is the powerful and immense love of our beloved Bhagwan for us. All these were happening in my life every day. And I had no idea it was my dream or sort of real. After 3 days memorable trip to Nepal, then came the final day, the day of our exit from Kathmandu. We had a flight in the late evening at 8:20. Let me tell you, this was the most adventurous day. The climax of our trip was actually a big one for all of us. It was the final evening. We took the leave from Swami, we took his blessings, and we reached Kathmandu airport. It was in the evening, like 5 o'clock around. We stepped inside the airport. The moment we stepped in, my elder son Aditya, who was 12 years then, simply vomited at the entrance gate of the airport. We made him drink water. We thought his stomach may be upset as we had food in the hotel for quite a few times. So this may be some indigestion issues. We were not aware that our nightmare has just begun. However, unknowingly, we continued our boarding process. By the time we have collected our boarding pass, my son Aditya's health condition was deteriorating. He had already vomited for another 2 to 3 times. And over that, he started having loose motions also. I panicked and I reached the airport doctor and asked for medicine. Well, he gave me 2 packets of ORS powder, saying that this will save him from dehydration. Now, I insisted for a medicine which can stop his motion and vomiting, as we have a 5-hour long flight journey from Kathmandu to Muscat. And of course, there is another 2 to 3 hours of airport time for clearance process. So total 7 to 8 hours journey. The airport doctors simply refused to give any medicine, saying that it is not in their authority to give any antibiotics medicine without any formal medical test being done. It is against the law. That's what he said. I insisted, I fought, but he refused. Now my son was losing it. He was really having a bad time. Actually, in my life until date, now he's 16, 17 years old, till date, I have never witnessed such a miserable condition for him. By the time we cleared immigration, he has vomited 8 to 9 times and he had 4 to 5 times loose motion. And all that in that 2 to 3 hours window. In fact, we have to change his clothes also a couple of times. At the time of boarding flight, Aditya simply, before boarding the flight, Aditya simply sat on the floor, hold his stomach and head lean on the wall. And he said, very in a low voice, he said, "Dad, I think I cannot travel." After seeing and looking at this condition, I felt actually at that point of time, at that moment of time, that panic condition, I felt that I will have maybe a sort of heart attack. I was in a big dilemma. I was not sure whether I should board on the flight or continue this journey for 5 hours and see some doctor at Muscat. I mean, I continue my journey and see some doctor at Muscat, or should I not board the flight, go back to Kathmandu and see some doctor back at Kathmandu? Well, both the options had its own pros and cons. The airline gave us one little help. They said that for Aditya, we'll give him the last row to sit. the last row, the seat next to the washroom. They smiled and told us that this will help in, going again and again all the time. And this is most that they can do. Now my heart was beating like hundreds of horses are running in it. And mentally I was totally clueless. At that point of time, I decided to seek divine intervention. I called up Amir Bhai and explained him all the situation and requested him to take a suggestion or decision from Swami that what we should do, whether we should board the flight and take this trip of 8 hours in this condition for Aditya, or should we come back to Kathmandu and see some doctor there back to Kathmandu. Well, the network was very quite poor at that location. We were standing below the staircase of the airplane, right? The flight was at 8:20 and this was around 7:50, 7:55. The flight was about to take off in 20, 25 minutes like that. Now, Amir Bhai immediately spoke to Swami and he called me back again in 2-3 minutes. But unfortunately, when Amir Bhai called me, I was not able to hear him at all because of the flight noise due to the poor network, and it was too breezy and too much of engine noise. He tried a couple of times calling me, but I was not able to hear him at all. It was not working for us. It was 8 p.m. and then the ground staff said that we cannot board anymore. We cannot wait for you anymore. I mean, if you don't want to board, the flight will take off. And that situation, I think I took one of the most gutsiest decisions of my life. I closed my eyes. I prayed to Swami, gathered all the strength, and I believe I took that decision. I boarded the flight. I suggested we sat on the last row so that it would be easy for Aditya to visit washroom frequently. Aditya was given a support by airlines. They gave him a blanket and little cushion. My heart was beating like 1,000 drums. But now, what happened in the flight and for next 5 hours was another big surprise for all of us. You know what? Aditya slept and kept sleeping continuously, non-stop, without even blinking his eyes, even for once, for full 5 hours. Over that, he was snoring at its peak for full 5 hours. Not a single time this boy drank ORS, vomited, or had any motion. Forget that, he did not have motion for next 2 days also. You know that I could not hear, the flight, the journey was perfect. It was safe and we landed very safely, peacefully, without any much issue. The decision came out to be correct. And when we landed back, I could not hear what Amir was saying from the other side of the phone. Because of the noise and the disturbances. But when our flight landed, our network resumed. And when the mobile data I put on, when I read the WhatsApp message, my eyes literally glittered when I read what Amir Bhai has put me a message in the WhatsApp, because he could not communicate with me, he could not speak with me. So he had me, which I could not see. But when I resumed the network, I could read the message. The message was there, which he simply said from Amir Bhai. He said, Anand Bhai, Swami has said, why fear when I am here? Tear rolled down from our eyes. We understood the divine medicine which was working and the reason why Aditya was so much at ease and snoring like a horse during the whole flight. We understood the invisible hand of God, the deep love of God, which took care of my son, not only took care of my son, but also protected him during the 5-hour flight journey. I learned a very simple lesson that day. If our heartfelt, simple prayer and faith in God can make our 5-hour flight journey so safe, so peaceful, so happy, then just imagine what difference it will make in the journey of our life if we surrender our faith and prayers at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. After first visit, it was a memorable one, which I could not forget. We started praying Swami at our house along with all our deities and gods. This was quite unusual for me, for a man like me. But the events and the things which happened naturally transformed me. After this trip, there were several instances whereby we felt this presence of divine presence of Swami at our residing place. Sometimes it was in the form of vibhuti materialized in our temple on the Swami's photograph. Other time in the form of divine fragrance appearing from nowhere whenever we talked about him or whenever we read a book given by him to us. Sometimes we have this kind of experiences. Every time we had an experience, we simply loved and enjoyed the feeling that the invisible hand and the deep love of our beloved Bhagwan is with us in our topsy-turvy journey of life. There's so many experiences, like my boy, both the boys were blessed to have their Upanayan performed by Divine Hand himself. I don't know since how many birth and what kind and quantity of good deed these boys might have done to be so fortunate in their life. Well, as I said, there are a lot of events and experiences. I think all cannot be mentioned here at one point of time. But out of all this, one miraculous experience I would like to still put up here, which was quite a profound one according to me. Though that experience was not witnessed myself, but my wife and my son, who was elder son, has experienced it and seen it quite closely. I believe Chitra Mama will remember this. This was one evening when my family was at Sai Abode for prayer. There were some 20, 30 devotees sitting in 6 to 7 row. My family was sitting in the last row, as they said. And as they said, there was a puja thali kept behind the last row. And suddenly, as they described the living room, as in the living room, the lights went off. Some divine music started playing in one of the audio players kept in the room. And what they saw was something really surprising, that the puja thali, which was lying on the floor on the back side, near the last row, it slightly slowly lifted from the floor in the air, maybe some 4 to 5 inches above the ground. And the puja thali just moved 2 rotation like we do arti. And the room was full of with divine fragrances. Now, for me, for my family, it was a new thing. They were very much stunned, but they quickly realized that there was Swami's divine presence in the room. Such was the love and power and the omnipresence of our beloved Bhagwan. I'm sure we all have such miracles, story experienced ourselves in our life directly, or might have heard from some or other Sai devotees some other time. Well, these stories are never ending and will keep going on and on and on. My take is, from all these stories, from these experiences, whoever hears it, sometimes we choose to believe them. Some may choose to believe them, but I think still there is a lot who choose not to believe them. Well, it is an individual choice. But for me and my family, we choose to believe it. We choose to believe that Swami is the living avatar among us, and we are blessed to have him in our life. And we are blessed to have a life like this one. My point is, once we choose to believe it, how do we take it further from here? And how do we benefit from it? Well, as Swami himself says that all his miracles are just like his visiting card, but not his identity. If we really want to benefit in our life, I think we need to learn from his life story. We need to learn from his teachings a lot every day. We need to learn, we need to understand, we need to analyze and implement those principles and teachings in our life. As this year is rightly been declared as the year of Antarchintan, we all need to do Antarchintan on this, that Swami, through his teachings, through his miracles, what message he wants to convey to us. Now, to conclude my talk, please allow me to discuss with you one of the key teaching of Swami, which made me to ponder, which I feel had benefited me a lot. Well, it had made my life quite peaceful, and also to an extent fearless. As Swami teaches us, his teaching, this is what I am saying, the teaching of Swami, as he teaches us, if you seek me over all other materialistic desires, then everything else is achieved automatically. I'll repeat, I found it so wonderful and amazing and so powerful. As Swami teaches us, if you seek me over all other materialistic desire, then everything else is achieved automatically. Now, to ponder over this, what I understood and what I analyzed, let me share with you. I always realized that my materialistic desires are literally unlimited. Once I have a desire for a thing, I'm always restless. I'm restless. I want to attain that desire. Until unless the solution is not found, it is my basic nature to be restless and to attain that. And when the desire is fulfilled, what I have experienced, what I have observed, that it makes me feel happy and joyful. But these feelings are quite temporary. Slowly but surely, I have the tendency of seeking something more, something bigger than the previous one, which again creates a sort of restlessness in me. So once a desire is there, a restlessness there, when it is fulfilled, again restlessness starts in me. And in case if the desire is not fulfilled, say it happens other way around, if I'm not able to attain a fulfill one of my desires, then obviously naturally I'm frustrated or disappointed, which is keeping me restless all the time. So one thing I have experienced that in no matter all conditions, whether it is money, car, gold, whatever, in all conditions, there is always a sort of inner restlessness in me to seek a desire. So as Swami says, rather seeking materialistic desire, why don't you seek him directly? Let's try to get attached to God himself. Let's be passionate about God himself. Well, that does not mean that we stay away from our responsibility. Well, that does not mean that we stay away from our work. We must live our life completely responsible for our tasks and duties, but be more passionate and attached to be with the God. Swami always says that, I've heard in one of his discourses, whereby he says that Guru sikhate hain, but avatar dikhate hain. Meaning, Guru shows the path, Guru teaches the path, but avatar leads by example. So, for instance, Swami lives, for instance, for me, Swami life is an example for us. He's leading a life, an example for us. He is staying away from his family. He may not be that attached, but he still take care of his duties and responsibility for his family. He teaches with his life responsibility to reduce attachment for materialistic world desires, whether it is money, fame, wealth, or even family for that matter. Bhagwan's life is full of simplicity in all advanced conditions. This is what I have noticed. And even the severe criticism, which we most of the devotees knowingly, unknowingly do, Swami always maintained his calmness, peace, and serenity and love for us. That is divinity. I think the most beautiful miracle of Swami is his simplicity. Likewise, the life of all other avatars, whether it was Lord Rama or Lord Krishna, in all crisis conditions, the most beautiful miracle of all these avatars, which I experienced, which I felt, was always their display of their simplicity and their love. I shall like to end my talk here with a humble request and prayer to God. O Swami, bless us, guide us, navigate us on the journey of consciousness so that we live for you, we die for you, and ultimately merge with you. Om Sai Ram, Om Bhagwan Shri Sanjay Sai Baba Namo. Om Sharmam Namo.
A beautiful, heartfelt offering by Brother Anand Sharma. He clearly gave a beautiful message of Bhagwan that when we have our God as our Guru, we never sink in life. When we seek Him, we never sink. He always is there, elevate us, He make us to involve and give us all the opportunity as if we have done, though He is the doer. So we love you, Bhagwan, for all the blessings and all the guidance that you are giving. May we grow and glow under your divine guidance always, and help us to love more and more and judge less and less. Jai Jai Sai Ram, Brother Anand Sharma. It was such a beautiful talk, right from the heart, and it touched everybody's heart. Now, from the beautiful Bhojan to our soul, we move on to Bhajan to have a beautiful listening to our ears, feast to our ears. Here we go with the divine Bhajans. Damodar Bhai.
जय जय गणनायक जय जय विघ्न विनाशक जय 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 गणनायक जय जय विघ्न विनाशक जय शुभ मंगलदायक विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायक जय शुभ मंगलदायक विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायक गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन जय 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 गणनायक जय जय विघ्न विनाशक जय शुभ मंगलदायक विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायक गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन जय 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 गणनायक जय जय विघ्न विनाशक जय राम जय गुरु साई राम जय गुरु साई राम जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम जय गुरु साई राम ब्रह्म विष्णु शिव साई राम ब्रह्म विष्णु शिव साई राम पर ब्रह्म रूप साई राम पर ब्रह्म रूप साई राम माता पिता गुरु साई राम माता पिता गुरु साई राम जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम जय गुरु साई राम जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Brahma Vishnu Shiva Sai Ram. Para Brahma Rupa Sai Ram. Mata Pita Guru Sai Ram. Jagat Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jagat Guru Sanjay Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Kalyani Kanchi Puri Kamakshi. Kalyani Kanchi Puri Kamakshi. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Patishwari Amba Parameshwari. Patishwari Amba Parameshwari. Madangi Mathura Puri Meenakshi. Madangi Mathura Puri Meenakshi. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Kalyani Kanchipuri Kamakshi. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Patishwari Amba Parameshwari. Madangi Madhura Puri Meenakshi. Madangi Madhura Puri Meenakshi. Saishwari Amba Jagadishwari. Am I audible?
Good evening.
Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat 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 Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. शिव शिव शिवाय नमः शिवाय शिव शिव शिवाय नमः शिवाय साई ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय हरि ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय हरि ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय साई ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय शिव शिव शिवाय नमः शिवाय साई ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय साई ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय हरि ओम तत्सत् नमः शिवाय साई राम
शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांति वासी साई राम शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांति वासी साई राम साई राम साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांति वासी साई राम अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम परतिपुरी के हे भगवान अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम परतिपुरी के हे भगवान दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांति वासी साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांति वासी साई राम अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम भरतीपुरी के है भगवान अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम भरतीपुरी के हे भगवान दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांति वासी साई राम
विठ्ठला हरी विठ्ठला 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठले हरी नारायण पांडुरंग विठ्ठले हरी नारायण पुरंदर विठ्ठले हरी नारायण पुरंदर विठ्ठले हरी नारायण भज नारायण हरी नारायण भज नारायण साई नारायण सत्यनारायण साई नारायण सत्यनारायण विठ्ठल हरि विठ्ठल विठ्ठल हरि विठ्ठल विठ्ठल हरि विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठले हरि नारायण पुरंदर विठ्ठले हरि नारायण भज नारायण साई नारायण सत्यनारायण साई नारायण सत्यनारायण विठ्ठल हरि विठ्ठल साईराम
रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो रघुकुलतिलकं रामं भजो रघुकुलतिलकं रामं भजो रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो दशरथनन्दन रामं भजो दशरथनन्दन रामं भजो दशमुखमार्धन रामं भजो दशमुखमार्धन रामं भजो रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो वैदेही प्रिय रामं भजो वैदेही प्रिय रामं भजो वैकुंठवास रामं भजो वैकुंठवास रामं भजो रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो रघुकुलतिलकं रामं भजो रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो दशरथनन्दन रामं भजो दशमुखमार्धन रामं भजो वैदेही प्रिय रामं भजो वैकुंठवास रामं भजो वैकुंठवास रामं भजो रामं भजो रघुरामं भजो शिवतांकित मैथिली राजलोचना मैथिली पते
Bipin bhai?
हाँ
Yes.
तो बीजा चालू कर दी शिवतांकित श्रीकौ शुभधरा शिवतांकित श्रीकौ शुभधरा माधव मोहन कृष्णा माधव मोहन कृष्णा शिवतांकित श्री कौस्तुभधर श्री तुलसीदल वनमाला धरा श्री तुलसीदल वनमाला धर माधव मोहन कृष्ण माधव मोहन कृष्ण श्रीवत्सांकित श्री कौस्तुभधर कलियुग वरदा कलि अवतारा कलियुग वरदा कलि अवतारा करुणा सागर साई करुणा श्रीवत्साङ्किता श्रीकौस्तुभधर माधव मोहन कृष्ण माधव मोहन कृष्ण माधव मोहन कृष्ण माधव मोहन कृष्ण श्रीवत्साङ्किता दीनावना करुणामया मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना रामा राघवा राजीवलोचना राम राघवा राजीवलोचना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना दीनावना करुणामया दीनावना करुणामया राजीवलोचना रघुनन्दना दीनावना करुणामया दीनावना करुणामया मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना कमलालया करुणाबरा मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना रामा राघवा राजीवलोचना रामा राघवा राजीवलोचना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना दीनावना करुणामया दीनावना करुणामया कमलानयना कामलोचना कमलनयना कामलोचना मैथिलीपते रघुनन्दना 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 रघुनन्दना
राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की 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 राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जान की 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 जय बोलो हनुमान की। जय राम।
ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु। सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु। सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु। सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्त जीवा सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त जीवा सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त जीवा सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री संजय साई बाबा जी की जय बोलो भगवान श्री संजय साई बाबा जी की जय बोलो भगवान श्री संजय साई बाबा जी की
जय साई राम।
स्वामी त्वमेव शरणं मम साईं।
जय साई राम।
जय कृष्ण भगवान बाबा तम शरणम मम।
जय साई राम।
जय साई राम।
Sai Ram to everyone.